I'm fed up with this obsession, especially coming from Europe, to impose on Israel another Palestinian state that would terrorize Tel Aviv, Ra'anana, where we are right now. We are about 10 minutes away from that supposed Palestinian state. And I'm asking Macron or any world leader, are you willing to live 10 minutes away from radical Islam?
You are the leading potential candidate. You haven't announced, we're pressing you, but you're not ready to say it. You have put together a political party. You're leading in every poll for more than a year. Significantly. If you put together a party, formally announced, and elections are held anytime in the near future, it looks like you would be the next prime minister of Israel. So that's why people need to get to know you. Let's talk beyond that now. What is your vision for Israel and the region in a world in which the Iran threat, nuclear, missile, and terror has been neutralized, and now we're looking at something very, very different than Israel has ever known before? What is that vision of yours?
It's a vision of amazing peace and prosperity between us and the moderate Arab states. We could be doing amazing things together. We have a wonderful relationship with the Emirates, with Bahrain. We have a relationship with Egypt and Jordan, which is a bit cooler lately. But I think that once Iran is taken out of the equation, we could cut a deal and have peace with the Saudis, and that would in turn cascade to most of the Muslim world, because Saudi Arabia is the centerpiece of Islam in Mecca and Medina. So it would be amazing. In my previous life, I was a business person, an entrepreneur twice in high tech, and I think
very successful. I mean, selling companies for hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Thank you. Yeah, that's how we can be here right now. And what I would strive to do is synergy between us and our neighbors, bringing our high-tech knowledge, bringing their capabilities in execution and energy, etc. We could be really building a beautiful region here.
I agree with that, and as you know, I'm one of the few Israelis who's ever actually met Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman twice, once in Riyadh, once in Jeddah. And I think the only Israeli who's ever been photographed meeting with him. My perception from those trips is that, and this is pre-October 7th war, was that the Crown Prince and his leadership were moving pretty steadily toward making peace with Israel and wanting to have an integrated region. I'm wondering, and I'm curious what your take, if you think that the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia could make a deal with Netanyahu, given that the entire region sees Netanyahu as so integrated with the October 7th war and all the fighting and killing in Gaza. I'm not saying Netanyahu is wrong to fight this war. I'm saying, is it more difficult for the Saudis now to make a deal with someone who has become a pariah in many ways, even among the moderate Arabs who liked working with him and were willing to make those deals, the UAE, the Bahrainis, the Moroccans, and others? But what's your sense of, I mean, are you better able to do that, or does it go to basically just core national interests, and either the Saudis are going to do it or they're not? Because they're making a lot of noise right now that they're not ready. In fact, it seems like they're further from being ready than before October 7th.
There has been, unfortunately, some regression in the process, so we've seen them take a couple of steps back. I think together with America and the leadership of President Trump, I think we could get a normalization and hopefully a peace deal made. I'm not sure if it'll happen tomorrow, but I think new leadership in Israel would definitely be good news for Israel, for the region, for the world.
Now, one of the things that the Saudis are saying, and this goes to my question to you about vision, the Saudis are seeming to harden, I'm not sure if that's the right word, but I will use it. It seems to harden their position that a Palestinian state is an absolute essential. The Saudis and the French are holding a summit in New York at the UN with the Palestinian leadership, clearing the final pathway to announcing a Palestinian state. You were criticized pretty harshly in recent days by your political opponents who claimed that you were opening the doorway 6, 8 years to the possibility of a Palestinian state. What is your position on a Palestinian state? And how does that integrate with your vision of trying to make peace with the Saudis? Because I think you're against a Palestinian state.
I'm fed up with this obsession, especially coming from Europe, to impose on Israel another Palestinian state that would terrorize Tel Aviv, Ra'anana, where we are right now. We are about 10 minutes away from that supposed Palestinian state. And I'm asking Macron or any world leader, are you willing to live 10 minutes away from radical Islam? Stop it. Cut it out. That's enough. You know, we gave a Palestinian state to the Palestinians in Gaza back in 2005. We pulled out of all of Gaza. We pulled out our soldiers, pulled out all the citizens by force, expelled all the Jews there. We handed the entire land, the 1949 borders, to the Palestinians, and they turned it into a terror state, and they came to murder us. We're not going to make that mistake again. How many times European leaders pressure us? We will not commit suicide, not under my leadership.
I agree with you, but I'm not the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. So how do you thread that needle? What is the way forward in Gaza? And, you know, Mahmoud Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, he's, I think, 19 years into his 4-year term. 80% of Palestinians say that Abbas should step down. So what is your vision of how Israel should interact with Palestinians, and how you will, you know, try to help me understand what the conversation with you and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia would be to say, look, there's things we need from each other and want from each other and can do together, but this isn't one of them. I think that's what you're saying.
We could, I'm telling you that if we sit together, we could cut a deal of normalization, and we could figure out a path forward with the Palestinians. And it's a very simple formula. Maximum security for Israelis, maximum dignity and freedom for the Palestinians. We don't want to govern them. I don't want to govern them. We're not governing them. They have their own government, their own territory that they govern. They take their own taxes, their own sewage system, their own education system, which, by the way, they use it to incite against Jews. But maximum security, maximum dignity and freedom, and we could figure it out. That will not be a block towards peace with the Saudis.
Israel and Iran have stopped their missile war, but a spiritual battle is still taking place. Today, nearly 99% of Israelis don't yet know Jesus. Think about that. Nearly 99% of Israelis don't yet know Jesus, but a miracle is unfolding. One for Israel is a ministry that shares the gospel. And I can tell you, Jewish people are starting to accept Jesus in numbers not seen since the early church. Many Arabs are also finding faith and unity. One for Israel is an initiative of native-born Israelis sharing the gospel, discipling believers, and equipping spiritual leaders across Israel. As Romans 10:1 expresses, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they may be saved. Your support helps bring the gospel back to Israel. I want you to do something right now. Pick up the phone and call 800-892-9065. That's 800-892-9065 to help share the gospel in Israel. Visit oneforisrael.org/partner or scan the QR code. You served in the most elite Special Forces unit, Sayeret Matkal. You've got a son, your oldest son is currently serving in the military. My youngest son has just gotten drafted into the IDF.
Oh, wow.
Just about a month ago.
What's his name?
Noah.
Noah.
Yeah.
So may Hashem take care of him and his friends. And
thank you.
Good. Should be very proud.
I am. And yours is Yonatan? Is that the one?
Yoni,
that's,
yeah.
Yoni that's serving. So, amen. Look, evangelical Israelis, we answer the call to duty. Messianic Jews, we answer the call of duty. It doesn't matter which government is in power. There's a state, we're part of it, and we believe that we need to serve. And there are believers in Yeshua that have continued to fight. About 1,000 of them in the army over the course of the war, and some have died in the course of the war. But there's a huge tension right now, a huge political tension. So it could end up unraveling, in theory, the Netanyahu government. Let's set the politics of that part aside. But there are ultra-Orthodox leaders who are saying absolutely not. Almost, I hate to say this on Christian television, and I'll bleep it out if I have to, but hell no, we won't go. Like that's from the 60s. We're not going to Vietnam. These are Israeli citizen Jewish, ultra-Orthodox Jews who say we won't serve in the time of being attacked on 7 different fronts. You and I talked about this a year ago, and you were very forceful about you don't see anything in the Bible that says that a person who believes in the Bible, believes in God, loves God, shouldn't defend the country. That goes against everything that we believe. But what in the world is happening that this is a huge political force, and it has almost seemed to have the Netanyahu government in a grip where they won't demand that everybody serve. It's not a choice. It's a responsibility, especially in wartime. So I'm going on a little bit of a rant, but I know but I want to get your take on this because you're religious. You're the only religious Jewish person who's ever served in the modern history of Israel. So as prime minister. So what is your take for those who didn't see our conversation a year ago?
I cannot imagine a more sacred duty and privilege than to defend the Jewish state as a fighter, as a soldier. The Jews had here a state 2,000 years ago, and it was destroyed by the Romans, and we were dispersed. And then for 2,000 years, we did not have a state. We were small communities, very vulnerable, I'd almost say very weak.
Yeah.
We had no ability to defend ourselves, and we went through pogroms. The epitome was the Shoah, the Holocaust. And now we have a state. I have something that my grandparents, my great-grandparents, that both of them were murdered by the Nazis, they didn't have. They didn't have the ability to defend themselves. So why would you come to the state of Israel and not want to serve and defend your beautiful country? This goes against everything that in Judaism. All our heroes. Abraham was a fighter.
Yeah.
Jacob was a fighter. Moses was a fighter. Joshua was a fighter. Gideon was a fighter. King David was a fighter. Saul was a fighter. Jonathan was a fighter. Those are the biggest heroes of the Bible, of the Tanakh. And now, on behalf of Judaism, you're claiming that you shouldn't fight and let others go and risk their lives? This is unacceptable. Enough is enough. The current government, for petty political reasons, is allowing a huge portion of Israel, the ultra-Orthodox, my brothers, I love them, my brothers and sisters, I love them, but they need to work, they need to pay taxes, and they need to serve in the IDF. Enough is enough.
I want to talk to you about your relationship with evangelical Christians. First of all, I appreciate that you've come on the Rosenberg Report a number of times now. You spoke at an evangelical event that I organized in California. You also, with my encouragement, but I didn't know if you were going to really say yes to it, was Liberty University had asked me, might Naftali Bennett ever be willing to speak to our students? And you did. I think it was November 1st of last year. Well, why are you reaching out to evangelicals? And what was that experience at Liberty University like? That's like 10, 12,000 students that you had a chance to speak to. So, yeah, what's going on with you and us?
I think we have a special bond, the Jewish people and evangelicals, in understanding that the Jewish state has to thrive, and that in many ways, it's my belief that we're fulfilling the promises of the Tanakh, of the Bible. It's quite remarkable if you think about it. I mean, the only nation in history that was expelled from its homeland, and for 2,000 years we were dispersed all around the world and came back and rebuilt our third commonwealth here. We had the first temple, the second temple. I view this as our third state, and it's beautiful, and knowing that all of you are praying for us and care for us and fight for us, it means the world to me.
Why did you say yes to the Liberty University engagement?
Oh man,
that was really interesting.
What an experience that
you had
was.
never been there before. This was your first
never
time.
been to,
I don't think any Israeli prime minister, current or former, has ever spoken there.
Oh, I mean, the stadium was packed with, I felt the love in the air, the love for the Jewish state, for the state of Israel. And I felt that we share common values of liberty, of fighting for good against evil. While we're thousands of kilometers away, I think it matters, and I want to thank the folks at Liberty University and all the evangelicals.
They loved you. I heard many good things.
I have a very good experience from
Well, I'm so glad. As you share with evangelicals on this show, what do you need from us? How can we be more helpful than we have been?
Well, first of all, you've been great. I would say a couple of things. First of all, anyone who can come and visit Israel, come be with us. Come strengthen us. Be here, visit here for a week or two. It's a beautiful country, pretty small. Some people sometimes imagine the Jordan River as some huge river, and then it's this tiny little stream that you can barely see, but it is the Jordan River. And secondly, speak up for us, because the barrage of lies that's being hurled towards the state of Israel, it's just, we need other people with us to hit the ball and hit it back.
Yeah. Certainly with the Rosenberg Report, we're trying to do that with TBN.
You are.
All Israel News, our digital platform, and our organization, the Joshua Fund. Thank you. And I think that more evangelical leaders, as they start coming, and I just was on a month-long speaking tour. I spoke to a pastors' conference of 1,600 pastors in Philadelphia. They were from all over the East Coast of the United States. And more of them, as I share with them, yes, I think it's time to start thinking about, even in small groups, with missiles coming from Yemen, sometimes people think, I don't know if I want to bring 600 people. Okay, bring 50, bring one bus, and just come as leaders. Would you be interested in meeting some of those evangelical leaders? I know you can't meet every single person that comes to the country.
Oh yeah, definitely.
To engage with them.
I think that it's such a deep alliance between the evangelical community, especially in the United States and the state of Israel, and you guys are strong. You have power. You have an ability to influence, how things develop. And so yes, we're very appreciative. I'm very appreciative of the warm support, by the way, of your own, Joel, and your network and everything that you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much. And as you know, I have a relationship with Netanyahu, and I have a relationship with Yair Lapid and Benny Gantz, and we're trying to
good people.
All diverse.
I'm not going to trash.
I'm not a partisan. I'm trying to hear and learn.
Yeah.
What I want to do. My view of media journalism is. I would liken it to American football. You grew up in America for a while.
Right.
I don't mind. So my team are the Pittsburgh Steelers. My wife's family is originally from Pittsburgh, so we love the Steelers. I don't mind if the guys in the booth trash the Steelers on any given play or game because they're doing a lousy job or whatever. But I don't want to think that the guys in the booth hate the Steelers and want them to burn in hell.
Right.
And a lot of journalism these days is that. Trump, Netanyahu, you when you were the prime minister, whatever, Lapid when he was prime minister. There's a deep enmity from journalists who are just supposed to be reporting the facts. That's why I'm trying to engage with you and the others. Let you guys make your case and let people, pray for you, first of all, but also make their own assessments. But I want to give you a fair shake. I don't want there to be this sense of... One more thing on this topic of the evangelicals is, I have been encouraging Prime Minister Netanyahu to appoint an ambassador, and as first ever ambassador to the Christian community. Something that he said he's going to do, I think he means well. He certainly has engaged evangelicals far more than you or others. He's been doing it a long time. But we haven't seen that ambassador appointed. I have talked to my friend Guidon Sarr, a mutual friend of ours. He's supportive of it, but there's a lot on these guys' plates. But it just keeps going on. We don't see it. I don't want to be too critical, but on the other hand, I think Israel needs an ambassador. This is their mission. This is their portfolio. I think every ambassador has to have it as part of their portfolio,
That's right.
Especially in the United States, and Yechiel Leiter is a good man. Would you, if you became the prime minister again, would you commit to appointing an actual Israeli ambassador to
Yeah, I believe
the Christian
so. I
community?
think it's a great idea.
What would be your reason to do it? I have my reasons, but
Well, it's such a distinct and strong and meaningful community that's been helping us so much and shares many of the same values that we share. Why would we not want to be talking all the time